events, and issues shaping our community. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Knowledge is power when it comes to your health. Your body has many ways to easily spot signals that can help you prevent potential problems. Did you know that your body's secrets are clearly visible on your tongue? Dr. Ben Miller is an expert in the Asian art of tongue diagnosis and holistic health. And welcome, Dr. Miller, to our show. Can people self-diagnose what's wrong with their tongue?
For sure, and having a basic understanding of what the different type of tongue appearances mean can give you some clues as to how your internal environment is.
What's some of the most common maladies you see on the tongue?
Well, it's very easy when you put out your tongue and you look in the mirror to see a coating that's covering the tongue.
Right.
And a coating can be a greasy, kind of yellowish coating. And that indicates that there's some bog down in the digestive system and there's accumulations forming.
Really?
Absolutely.
So a coating is not necessarily a good thing?
No, a coating means that there's slow digestion and you're getting phlegm buildup.
All right, so different parts of the tongue actually pertain to different parts of the body. So
Right.
maybe you could explain this map.
Sure. If you see this map, you can see that the sides of the tongue relate to the liver and the gallbladder. The tip of the tongue is the heart, coming back into the lungs is the next part. And down at the root of the tongue relates more to the kidneys. And the center of the tongue is your digestive system, really the center of the body. So the center of the tongue relates to the center of the body. You see a coating showing up on the center of the tongue. It can indicate that there's phlegm or additional fluids built up in the digestion.
How do you diagnose the tongue? What happens to these different areas to show there's a problem?
Well, there are signs of texture changes, color changes, moisture changes, different cracks, shapes change, and each of these changes indicates a different internal dynamic. So if the tongue is swollen and it's pressing up against the teeth, you'll get these little teeth marks on the side of the tongue, which we call scallops. And this is an indication that there's exhaustion at some level, that the person is tired, and the tongue is kind of puffing up and pressing up against.
That's what happens when you get tired, is your tongue
Well,
expands.
One of the things that happens, yes.
All right. Let's take a look at a few tongues here, and maybe you could tell us what's wrong with these individuals.
Sure.
Because again, I mean, it's all according to the tongue, and it shows what the health is all about. Now this one here.
When you look at this tongue, you see a lot of cracks, and you see some texture differences towards the back of the tongue. This is a person who's probably been dehydrated for a long time, and that reddish area towards the back is indicating that there's some heat that's actually built up in the lower body.
Okay, when you're saying dehydrated for a long time, that's something many people down here in South Florida have because of the humidity and the heat, right?
Very much. Because of how hot South Florida is and how damp it is, we all have to deal with heat and dampness, and that can be very heavy on the body.
That's reversible, right?
It is reversible. You do it mostly through diet and lifestyle changes, and having some general understanding of what the tongue appearances mean gives you a clue as to what you might need to do.
All right, let's take a look at the next tongue.
Okay, this is very common. This is a deep midline crack that's starting kind of at the middle of the tongue and going all the way to the tip. Now, the middle portion of the crack is related to dryness in the digestive system. So this person might have digestive symptoms like bloating and gas and difficulty transforming the food. As the tip comes up closer, the crack comes up closer to the tip, it's starting to tell me that it involves the lungs and the heart, and there may be dryness up there as well. Could be asthma, could be different respiratory diseases going on.
Okay, let's look at the next tongue here.
Okay, now this tongue, you see a pretty prominent coating on the tongue. There is digestive accumulation. This probably is a lot of mucus. There's a lot of gunk. Could be a cold, although because of the tongue doesn't change quickly, this is probably something longer term.
And the only people out there with perfect tongues are babies, right?
Pretty much. If you want to know what
kids.
a perfect tongue looks like, look at an infant's tongue. They're the healthiest people out there.
All right, well, thanks very much. Put your taste buds to the test. Learn how to pick the perfect wine for your next dinner party. Head to Get Local under Comcast On Demand and select Pride. I'm Spiro Canton. Thank you for joining us.